Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm ranking all 10 Metallica albums from the worst to the best. I always do this when I'm done with covering a band or a movie series, so it's time for the Metallica album. So at number 10, my least favorite Metallica album, easily is Saint Anger. The worst album of all their albums. I personally can't stand this album. Such an ugly look for Metallica, in my opinion. It's just an awful album. The only two good songs off this album are Saint Anger and Unnamed Feeling. Other than that, this album's not that good. It easily gets a D minus. If it didn't have One time an album gets an F is when I don't like any of the songs, but two songs I do like is all this album. That's the only reason why it's a D minus. So Saint Anger's at number 10. And number 9 is you might be surprised, but it's Reload. Reload is easily missed. Is at number 9. It's way more of a step up though from Saint Anger, but Reload is when you could tell it was starting to go down a little bit. They should have made Load and Reload into one album, but they wanted two separate albums. The majority of the second half of this album is not that good, in my opinion. But the first half, you got songs like Fuel, Memory Remains, and Devil's Dance, and a few other decent songs that save this album. Matter of fact, my two favorite songs on this album, Fuel and Devil's Dance. Um, Reload is mediocre. It's not that terrible. It's just there, and you can just put it with Load. It should have been one album. So at number 9, and that's why I only get this album a D plus. Yeah, D plus. So Reload is at number 9. And number 8 is Death Magnetic. Death Magnetic is definitely was a step up from Metallica from Saint Anger. Way better album than Saint Anger. And I think it's a way better album than Reload. There's like like three songs of the album which are really like garbage, but the other songs are decent, not that terrible, and I can listen to them. So, like my three favorite songs out of this album are Cyanide, All Nightmare Long, and The Day That Never Comes. Those songs are pretty decent. The only thing that hurts this album is the recording process. I don't know what happened to it. It's not that good. The remix and everything of this album. So, Death Magnetic's still a pretty decent album. It's nowhere near the top of the list, but it's definitely a step up after Saint Anger from Metallica. So it gets a C plus. Next up is Load. Load was a little download. Was a definitely a downgrade from the Black Album, but Load, uh, worse than Reload, was pretty decent album. It was not nearly that good of an album, but it was pretty decent. Had some pretty good songs off it. Um, like my three favorites off the album are "Ain't My Bitch," um, "King Nothing," and "Until It Sleeps" are pretty decent songs on this album. And "Hero of the Day" is pretty decent. There's some low points on this album, but Saint Anger, Load is such. It's definitely you can tell it's a step down from their other albums, but it was nowhere near the step down as Reload and Saint Anger. But I do think it's better than Death Magnetic. So this album it also gets a C plus. No, actually, it gets a B minus. Um, Next up is Hardwire. Hardwire was such a step up. Their best album since the Black Album. I love Hardwire. It's easily my personal favorite Metallica album after their heyday from Kill 'Em All to the Black Album. But Hardwire was a surprise for me. I didn't expect like this album as much as I do. Songs like Spit Out the Bone, Am I Savage, Murder One are just like some examples of songs I love off this album. Really good album, really decent. There's a few songs that are not the best, but Hardwire is still one of their better albums, especially the best album in the last 20 years. And I easily give this album an A. It really does deserve an A. So Hardwire's at number 6. And number 5 is where like your golden age albums are pretty much. And number five for me is the Black Album. I like the Black Album, but it's way overplayed on the radio, and that's what kills it for me. It's a good album, but some of the songs like Enter Sandman, Nothing Else Matters are way overplayed on the radio, so that kills the Black Album for me. I like some of the underrated songs off this album, like Don't Tread on Me, Through the Never, Unforgiven. It's not really it's one of the more popular songs off the album, but I like it a lot, and Wherever My Own I do too. Sad About You has a special place in my heart. I always will love that song. But Black Album is it deserves all the love it gets. It's a really good album. Definitely a change over Metallica, but it's not like low, where it was a huge change. This was a pretty decent change for Metallica, and I like that about this album. So this album music gets an A. It's like an A plus just because it's way overplayed, so that kind of kills it for me. But Black Album is still a really good album. And number four is Kill Them All, the first album. I love Kill Them All. I think it's one of their underrated albums. Such a great album, such a revolutionary album for metal. It's really a classic metal album. Kill Them All is just crazy. It's over almost 30 years old. Um, it was recorded in Rochester, New York, where I have family up there. To me, that means a lot. So, Kill 'Em All is a great album. Has some underrated songs like Four Horsemen, No Remorse, Whiplash, or some great songs off this album. Seek and Destroy is another really good album. A few songs are not, there's like one or two songs I don't like off this album, but overall it's a pretty decent album. I give this album an A, and that's why it's at number four. And number three, these top three albums will always been my top three from Metallica. And number three is Injustice for All. I love this album. Yeah, I understand you can't really hit a bass in it, but it's still a really great album. It's one of my most listened to albums from Metallica, and I just love this album. Top three favorite songs are one, Injustice for All, and Harvester of Sorrow. Just great songs off this album. It's definitely one of Metallica's best, and I love this album. Um, Justice for All is a really amazing album. It's crazy how old as it is and still stands up today, but Justice for All gets an A plus. One of my favorite Metallica albums. And number two and number one are pretty close to each other, but number one is just a tad bit above number two. But number two is Ride the Lightning. Ride the Lightning is their second album, and it's by such an upgrade from Kill 'Em All. No, Kill 'Em All is a good album. Ride the Lightning is definitely Metallica got their unique sound from. I love Ride the Lightning. One of my favorite Metallica albums since I started listening to them. It still is today. Has my favorite song, Creeping Death, on it. Ride the Lightning is underrated song for Whom the Bell Tolls I like too. This is a great album from Metallica. Easily an A plus, and easily deserves to be at number two. But number one, to me, will always be number one, just because it's such it's a great album and really important metal album. That's Master of Puppets. Master of Puppets is easily Metallica's best album, and the legendary album deserves all the love it gets. It's easily the best album. I love Master of Puppets. Really fantastic album. So many great songs off it. My top three off this album are Master of Puppets, Orion, and Sanitarium. But the other songs of this album are really good too. And Master of Puppets deserves to be a number one on this list, and it's one of my personal favorite albums still. That's how I rate Metallica albums. Next Tuesday will be my top 10 favorite songs off from Metallica. And then I didn't do for these other bands, I'm going to do two other top 10s songs from those bands. So, if you guys like this video, please like, subscribe, and notification bell. Movie review tomorrow, last one of the John Wick movies, and then do another video game series starting on Thursday. So, hope you guys like this video. Please like, subscribe, and notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.